Hello all, episode 2, here we go. Let's do our typical early game goal. Rebuilding, middle ticket price, you know the deal by now. And we're going to upgrade the stadium because I can't remember if we got to 20,000 capacity at all. If we did, then it's worth upgrading. If we didn't, then I'm upgrading a little bit too soon, but why not? We've got the money. So let's advance and we're going to see what sort of coaches we got. As per usual, we will not be signing any free agents. I never recommend sign free agents unless a particular circumstance arises or it's a necessity in the season with injuries. Otherwise, coaches is our main issue at the moment, so we're going to get a special team up, and I had a little look earlier and I found the coach that we want, and that coach is Silva. He's 31 years old, great personality, 5-star, he's already 81 overall, so we're going to offer him the full contract, 5 years, take the salary down as low as you possibly can, then take the bonus up until it accepts, and his total value is now 17 odd million. If you noticed at the start when I got him to 5 years, when the salary was high and the bonus was lower, the total was 29 million. So we're saving a good amount of money there by going low salary, high bonus. Next up, I'm taking a look at possible head coaches, DCs and OCs. For a head coach, the most important thing is intelligence. It's literally the only thing, to be honest, because motivating and game management don't really do anything. I've had low head coaches win tons of Super Bowls, so you only need to concentrate on intelligence. That guy looks decent, 96 intelligence, that's good. But you want him to have a decent personality as well, because then there's a lower salary. That's what they ask for, a low salary. And also, the younger they are, the better as well. And obviously, 4 or 5-star means you can train them higher. But when it comes to a head coach, you can get a 3 or 4-star. But when it comes to coordinators, you want 5-star guys, because then you can max out their training and they can be the best they can possibly be. So we have got some really good candidates here. So I'm going to fire my head coach, my DC and my OC, and going to bring in some new guys. Now, usually with my coordinators, like the special teamer I've got, I like to bring in someone in their 30s with a good personality, with decent intelligence and 5-star. But in this case, I found a couple of guys in their 40s. Felix Hicks, he's 45, 5-star, good personality, good intelligence, and so he's probably going to be my DC. Tony Davidson, I know at the minute he's the head coach, but because he's a 5-star, he's got a good personality, I'm actually going to bring him in as my OC. So I've just brought him in head coach, you just go teach, you convert their position, and it takes them down to a 61 overall. So I'll convert him to my OC, just because I like that he's a 5-star. Okay, so he's going to be vertical, and obviously we've got a load of TP, so now we can just ramp him up. As for DC, actually no, Willa Kennedy, he's got a really good intelligence and he's only 4-star, so he's the guy we're going to convert to head coach, purely because his intelligence is really good. And as I said, head coach, but intelligence 96, perfect head coach, nothing else really matters. And with the OC and DC, you want good intelligence, but the main thing is that they're usually fairly young and they're a 5-star. So Hicks is going to be our DC, it's a 5-star, zone coverage, so we're giving the full shebang contract straight away. The only reason I gave the other two a 1-year contract was just to see what they turned into, and if it was worth giving them the extra contract, even though I kind of knew it would be. I just wanted to make sure it was okay when I converted them to their new position. So I'll give both Tony Davidson and the head coach are given their full 5-year contracts now. And I know with coordinators or with any staff and coaches, I usually like to sign them in their 30s, but in this case I just feel like I've got a completely fresh start with a fresh set of coaches. Even though the 2 coordinators are in their 40s, they're unlikely to retire until they're over 60. So I've got them for a good, 14, 15 seasons. And I'm going to plough in TP to them now so that their play calling goes up and their training goes up. So they'll be good for quite a while yet. So I won't need to get any new coaches for, in my opinion, at least about 10 seasons, because you don't start losing them until you start winning. And that's going to be another couple of seasons, at least till we start winning. Then we've got to start winning regularly in the playoffs, and then we've got to start winning Super Bowls. That's when we'll start to lose our coaches. So I felt like signing guys in their mid-40s for my OC and DC was not a bad shout for the time being. As I've said with training before, always go for the max out plus 10 training, unless you hit, say, play calling here is 90, I would only then go plus 5, because play calling, you've got no need to go to 99, because you can only ever get plus 7 for your scheme fits, and that starts at 95, so you do not need to go to 99 for play calling. As for training, I've never really gone above 95, but maybe 99 has an effect. I'm not 100% sure. We'd have to ask some other people. So that's my coaching staff reset, all 4 positions for the new year. So I'm really happy with my coaching staff. Now I'm looking at staff, and I've already had a look, and there's a doctor I like. Whilst he's 55, he's 85 overall. I can sign him for 5 years. He won't retire until he's at least 60, and his rating for injury prevention is pretty good. So whilst injury recovery is good for a doctor, and that's what it shows on the stats, like +4 injury recovery, I actually like to look for injury prevention, because it means your player's less likely to get injured, but you just don't see the physical stat that the players get. You only get that for recovery. And psychologist, always look for personality boost, because red personalities can become orange, orange can become yellow, yellow can become green, etc. And that makes players train quicker, in theory play better, and also ask for lower salaries. Now moving on to the draft. Now I've got my coaches, the strategy that I use before every draft can come into effect, and that strategy is watch listing all the players on my schemes. So now I've got all the guys, I know who I want. I mean, the 5 stars are the important ones, but what you do have to remember when you've got these guys marked, 5 stars always tend to go earlier than you think. And so even a player who's not even B+ but is B and is a 5 star, he could go in the top 15, the top 20. Just because he's B, it doesn't mean he'll go down as low as where he's listed on the college players. So you just got to be careful. I've lost several players before by guessing it too late. And what I just did with the lines there is the same thing I do for every team, especially when I'm in the first round. I look at a team, I look at their scheme fits, look at their needs, and see if they'll take a player that I like. So the Lions, I didn't think they'd take a player I liked, or the Washington, or the Jets. Green Bay on the other hand, they've got a scheme fit that matches mine, zone coverage, and they want a defensive end. So I think they're going to try and take Wells, who's a guy I really want. He's zone coverage, 5 star, great personality. So I'm going to make a trade with the Packers. As you can see here, I gave up a few picks, but only 1 first rounder. That's quite important. And I gave up an O-lineman who I didn't need anymore anyway, but it means we get our guy Wells. 84, 22 years old, great personality, 5 star. He could be a guy we keep in the long term. It depends how well he trains. Now, I didn't want to take you through the whole draft, but I got some good players here. I've got a load of O-line, which I think is great because they're all young, got them for 5 years. I also got a brand new tight end, who's a really good player. He's only 4-star, but he's good. I'm going to switch him to wide receiver. The only person I did miss out on was a wide receiver in the draft who was 5-star who I wanted. But like I said, just because he's rated B+, I thought he'd go a bit later, and he didn't. Otherwise, we got every other player we wanted. Another thing that I've learned over time is the leadership trait. It is a great trait, and it helps increase intelligence and personality +1 for every level you go up on leader. So what I do now is I get a low level player who's got 95 intelligence, 95 personality, and that is the player I'll give the leadership trait to, because they'll have a cheap contract, you can keep renewing them and it doesn't matter. Whereas good players, sometimes you'll trade them away to get different players in the draft. So pick wisely when doing your leader trait. Now the team for the season, we've got Welch still at QB, drafted a new fullback. There's Ellis, the guy who's converted to wide receiver. Not the quickest, but he's good. So we've finally got a good young receiver. Joseph is only 3-star tight end, but decent overall. Here's our own lineman. As you can see, I'm starting to get a lot of scheme fits now. One guy's a 5-star there. And there's Wells, the guy we could possibly get Defensive Rookie of the Year. You know, we're hoping. 109 training efficiency. That's fantastic. Hoping he gets 4 or 5 levels, maybe more. That'd be great. Still, our cornerback room's shocking. Our safety room's not very good. There's Fuller, our return guy. He's going to be a legend for us. I intend to keep him throughout his career. And let's get into the season. Chargers, early doors. Okay, we didn't get smashed in our first game like we did last season. That's a start. And I did have a look at the power rankings before the season began. Oh, +1 for Ellis and Wells already. Great. And in the power rankings, as you can see here, we're not the worst team in the league anymore. And there's a win against the Packers. Lovely. Nice early win. So we're like, I think, ranked 26th overall, something like that. So, you know, we're better than 5 or 6 teams. Oh, 2 level ups for Carpenter already. That's really good. That's making me think we're going to get a lot of level ups, but I won't get my hopes up too much. Oh, a close fought game against the Broncos. Welch has had a good start to the season, but our running back room has been pretty poor. It was last season, so we are looking to try and improve that probably next season and getting some running backs to help, because we do run a 2 running back set and 3 wide receivers. So you do have to think about these formations depending on your head coach and what positions you want. I'm saying look at Joel Lewis here because he's a 5-star guy, good personality, and I'm pondering changing his scheme fit. But we don't have a lot of TP anymore, and he's 24 already, so I just don't think there's any point, because I'd only change his scheme fit if I'm going to keep him for his career. So Lewis will not be changing his scheme fit, and we won't be keeping him after his 4th year, but we'll keep him for a bit. Unless we can trade him for good value next season and bring in a player to replace him. A loss against the Steelers. That's a bit disappointing, to be honest, because we're better than them. Only by 1. So they can always go either way. But what I fear is going to happen this season, and what I can see most definitely happening, is we've got a better team than we had last year. And also this year we're better than about 5 or 6 teams, whereas last year we were the worst team and had a lower overall. Last year we got 3 wins. This season we're going to play several teams lower than us, and I know we're just going to lose to them all. I just got that feeling. Apart from that game earlier on, who's it against? The Packers. Apart from that win, I've just got a bad feeling. And because we're at 1-7, what I decided to do with our first round pick in 3 seasons time, we had decent enough value that I'm going to trade that away for 3 first rounders, as you just saw. So I always look to do that just before the trade deadline, see if you can trade 1 first rounder for 3 first rounders, especially if you've currently got a high pick. It's always worth doing. as we just continue to lose as the season goes on. And sorry, we was 1-7, so the trade deadline happens at week 7, not week 8, just so no one gets confused. And we got handle player events, yeah, that's fine. Chargers, probably another loss here. Oh, a close one though. Again, Welch has been okay, he's getting decent passing yardage. Ellis has been racking up the yards as a receiver as well. He could be looking at offensive rook of the year, so I'd love to be involved in either of those, to be honest. Close one against the Browns there. They're a little bit better than us. Our points per game, yards per game isn't too bad, you know. Chiefs. So last season, as whoever's watching now is aware, if you've watched the first season, we obviously ran the Chiefs on both games. We beat them home and away. So we swept the Chiefs, that's what I was trying to say. Couldn't think of the word. But they're probably going to sweep us this season. I don't think we're going to get the same luck. Remember what I said about free agents? I wouldn't normally sign them unless absolutely necessary in a situation like this, where the backup's injured. You just try and find a low overall guy who's going to be really cheap, because you've got to sign someone, because you have to fill that position. Chiefs, yeah, they swept us this season quite handily as well. Wells getting in there with his tackles, but not a ton of sacks. But as you can see, thanks to my facility and my coaches, there's a few players this season who've levelled up 4 or 5 times. So that's really good. Our players are growing nicely. If we can have another good draft, Wells +5, that's good. If we can have another good draft next season, we can have a really good young core of the team and hopefully start challenging for a playoff spot. But maybe that's still another season or 2 away. But yeah, look at that. Some good level ups this season. Some nice draft picks, 2 in the top 10. That's why it's worth finding those teams who have a low draft pick, because they've somehow finished well but are not very good overall, so that then their future picks are likely to be higher. So I always try and find those. And the Saints pick up the win this year. And let's see, I mean, I don't think I've got anyone. Fuller! Mitchell Fuller in just his 2nd season makes team of the year. Well, not the season we wanted, hope to get more wins, but it is what it is. We've got our facility, got our coaches. Let's really get onto this roster building. I'll see you in the next one.